welcome to the third session for our IMAC colloquium. So now we'll be proceeding with our third session, but before that, I would like to give a gentle reminder for the attendance for today. For the teachers, you can actually key in your attendance by 12:30 p.m. and also for the students, you can key in by 4:30 p.m. And also for the question later, Q&A session, you guys could actually put your questions in the chat box. And please do mention the teacher's name or the presenter's name that you're going to direct the questions to. So without further ado, I think we'll proceed to the next presenter for this session. So now I would like to invite Miss Doreen Ui Chun Meng. She's a lecturer from Institute Pendidikan Guru Campus Bahasa Antarabangsa, which is a teacher educational institute, okay, from Malaysia. And she has conducted courses on 21st century pedagogical skills as well as digital skills at national and international level. And today her topic will be on embarking the theoretical journey with pedagogical strategies as the destination. So we'll be watching the video regarding her presentation.
Greetings from Malaysia. Yeah, I'm Ui Chun Meng from the Institute of Teacher Education Malaysia, International Languages Campus, Kuala Lumpur. I'll be talking about 21st century education, embarking on the theoretical journey with pedagogical strategies as the destination. Now, 21st century education is a trend actually. Wherever we go, we say about 21st century education. So why is it so important actually? So now you must understand there is a gap. Yeah, there is a gap between what the students in school learn and also when they go to university, colleges, and also when they graduate from the university with their degree. So there is a huge gap actually. Yes. Yeah, teachers are very hardworking. Yes, they have been teaching their students. They are giving them a lot of inputs, but are they relevant? Okay, to equip the students when they start working. So now, so in the 21st century skills, there are many skills actually that we need to look into. Yeah, there are so many skills. These are only some of them. Okay, now we have like emotional intelligence, we have global citizenship, we have like cultural awareness skills, we have financial skills. So now all these are important because we want these students to be, to be smart not only academically but being able to face the changes, the challenges in life. Now let's look at these two photos. I think they look very familiar, right? Okay, very familiar. Okay, because each and every one of us is doing that. Yes, so you can see. So the difference between the generation, your grandmother's generation or your father's generation, and the younger generation. So those who are very young, 5 years old, 6 years old, they have been holding handphones, smartphones. So now, since everything has changed, there are many things which have changed, so our teaching should also change. How we teach should also change. So as teachers, for example, you should maybe come out with a flipped classroom. So what is this flipped classroom? So flipped classroom is whereby teacher records her teaching, yeah, and share with her students. So the students will view the recording, and then they answer questions, or they can also read notes given by the teachers. So based on that, so when they go to school, when they are in the classroom, there won't be like teacher input anymore. So it will be more like an interactive session where you have Q&A, and then you have like hands-on activities, you have projects going on, and also discussion. Now this makes your class very lively. It will be very interactive, and students learn a lot actually. Yeah, so they don't feel bored sitting in the classroom only listening to what the teacher has to say. Okay, and the second one, we have the project-based learning. So this project-based learning is whereby students, they think of ideas, they come up with a project. So the project can focus on so many aspects. So on how to help the environment, how to improve the environment, how to help the less fortunate. Yeah. And why is this important? Because this project-based learning require them to think out of the box and require them to interact with their peers, require them to showcase their work to the professionals so that these people will guide them. Yeah. These people will also reach out. Like, they might be doing a corporate social responsibility, CSR, for the public. Okay, for those who are less fortunate. Okay, let's look at this. Now, this is a makeshift raft in Indonesia. So students who look at this, you ask them ideas. Okay, come up with a project where how could they help these students. Now, it doesn't mean that your students will go and build the bridge or whatever, but they will talk to the maybe member of the parliament, the government. Okay, they will talk to people, professionals who could help them. So you can see there is a lot of collaboration going on, and all these will help to motivate the students. Now let's look at this. This happened in Malaysia just recently. So the bridge was washed away. Yeah, and these students have to sit in a bucket. Yeah, transported by, it's like zip lining, so to go to the other side of the river. So ask your students, come up with a project. How could how could these students be helped? So now, so remember, this project-based learning actually is very important. Why? Because when they are conducting their project, they have to think out of the box. They have to read, they have to discuss with their peers, their group members. Now, if anything that they do not understand, they could also discuss with their family members. Okay, so they could also read, they could also search from the internet. So from there, they are learning and learning on their own. So this is like self-access learning. Learning on their own can retain their memory longer. And this is also very good where effective, effective, where they learn how to work together. It's a teamwork. It's a teamwork. Okay, how to solve problems, and also it will improve their attitude and instill in them positive values, interpersonal skills, intrapersonal skills. So it will change them, okay, to be someone who is more positive, who is more confident. This is what we want in the 21st century. Yeah, it's no more working in silo, no more, like no interaction, no socializing. That is not in 21st century. Okay, now, so now remember, 21st century requires students who are, who are really resilient. They are resilient to the environment. So we should change them, make them resilient, okay, so that they could face the challenges in life. And remember, the growth of a nation is very important. You are developed or underdeveloped, it depends a lot on the people, on the citizens of the country. So so the hope of a country is on the coming generations. So we as teachers, okay, we as parents, we as residents, we as citizens, we should help the people, those around us. Teach all this. Yeah, it can be, not directly, maybe in a way that you do it in a very subtle manner. Yeah, instill in them all the values so that they could develop, help to develop the country, help to develop the world. Yes, so that is our role. That is very, very important. Okay, so yeah, that's all from me. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. Okay, bye.
Thank you, Ms. Doreen. So it was a really great presentation by Ms. Doreen, especially the infos that she has provided on how educators, especially they can actually use project-based learning in actually planning and executing their learning sessions in alignment with 21st century learning. So without further ado, we'll move on to the next speaker for today. Let me introduce her to you all. We'll proceed with Faith Wang Wei Ling. She is a school improvement coach and she's actually from Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Kuching, which is district office, education district office from Kuching, Sarawak, Malaysia. And she's actively involved with international NGOs. And today she'll be presenting on social and pedagogical issues related to technological applications among knowledge workers. So,
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Faith, and I'm from Malaysia. And I'm a school improvement coach and with Kuching District Education Office. So today I'm going to talk about the conceptual paper. This particular paper synthesizes and formulates a twofold strategy in the design of a better learning environment, addressing the related social and pedagogical issues. So, my discussion today will be presented in three segments. Firstly, the emerging social and pedagogical issues in technology integration, and discuss with in trend with Web 4.0 and Edu 4.0. So, in the second segment, I will offer a formulated strategy discussion that addresses the learning ecosystem and its delivery platform in making this technology integration in education a success. And last but not least, the concluding segment will cover our next course of action. And this paper has this particular objective in mind, which is to analyze the social and pedagogical issues related to technological applications, especially in the design of a better learning environment. And the design that we are talking about here is one that enables the learners with the right set of resources to achieve intended learning outcomes. For a start, I would really like to stress that the integration of technology in education is never really about the technology, but the pedagogy. Although some have believed and even predicted the total removal of human instructors in the near future, it is just simply not feasible. Now, the reason being that instructor is placed in the equation of learning simply because they are the one who think, design, and later on formulate a conducive learning environment with the support of technology. So this can be explained by Carrington's pedagogical wheel, where he stresses the importance of pedagogy as a way of thinking that meshes together every other things. Okay, so this guiding principle is in line with the trend in Edu 4.0, where we could confidently agree that knowledge is accessible anytime, anywhere, by anyone nowadays. So, due to this ubiquitous nature of technology, so Edu 4.0 actually proposes a very different model of learning nowadays. However, even with this ubiquitous nature of technology, it does not guarantee learning. Where previous literature had quoted the impact of technology integration seems to be minimal on education, or that learning online or online learning is merely an emergency response, like such as a response to the global scale lockdown due to the novel pandemic. So this is very true when educators and instructors are constantly reporting that they are just grappling to substitute conventional practices into digital form, because that was the only way they bridged them during the lockdown period. And but then this kind of technology integration is a representational of the lowest tier of technology integration according to the SAMR model. Therefore, could also see that in the previous studies, it quoted numerous issues in relation to technology integration in education, especially in terms of social and pedagogical aspects. So from the social aspect, I would like to discuss three main key points this morning. That is in relation to in relation to the relationship between stakeholders being the ultimate concern, right? So stakeholders in this context will refer to the instructors or the educators and the learners. Of course, there will be other relevant parties involved, but then I believe that instructors and learners are the core that holds an instruction together. And as education is fluid and developmental, so the creation of knowledge is altered from detected experts to collaborative individuals over time. For example, learning autonomy nowadays has ultimately moved into the learner's hands, so making the learning more self-directed rather than instructed. And this kind of change requires sufficient time for adaptation. So in general, it is reported that sufficient time and training are needed to improve on instructors or learners' readiness. But then again, is readiness truly the answer? We can all agree that technology moves very quickly. So training and time for the use of application is a quest that would become a mission impossible unless training and time refers to equipping instructors and learners with skills they can manage for self-learning. So perhaps a better perspective here is the mindful decision instructors and learners make in the integration of technology in education, which will lead us to attitudinal studies. So attitudinal studies seems to offer a better explanation of how integration of technology in education can be improved. So on top of that, we also should look into some of those missing skills that are diminishing in the face of technology. For example, library researching skills. And identify social issues are made even more complicated when technology becomes an inevitable component in instructions. Now, instructors not only have to deal with the change in their roles and how learners would approach learning, but they must also work on designing suitable instructions based on whatever pedagogical knowledge they have acquired. Now, instructors are generally equipped with teaching philosophy, classic learning theories, instructional techniques and strategies and all. But the challenge now lies in putting all this together for an instruction that is still relevant despite the change in trend of how one learns over time. So as a result, they must move on to a higher tier of technology integration where it is beyond the taxonomy of application. So in the SLMR model, it is the transformational tier that we are talking about, where instructors are innovative thinkers. So when I say innovative thinkers, we are not referring to instructors who have to start from scratch or reinvent the wheel, but innovation here refers to new methods, new ideas, new products by combining various existing resources. But then the challenge continues on, especially when we talk about how instructors and learners are born into different web generations. So it doesn't necessarily mean that any of them have issues in adapting to emerging web generation. The only concern is that the perception of the instructions that is formed by the preceding or the following web generation. So it is very clear that there is a gap between the instructor's expectation and the portrayal of the learner's profile, right? So in line with the issues raised in the above in the previous section, so the agenda of technology integration in education has to be discussed alongside the trend of Web 4.0 and Edu 4.0. So for the metrics, I propose this metrics that we can see that the Web 4.0 and Edu 4.0 actually contributes to the formation of a learning environment. So the main social and pedagogical concern here would be the accessibility to technology. So theoretically speaking, learning environment can be created through careful instructional planning. However, there are times where learning environments that couldn't even happen, even through careful instructional planning, especially when technology integration itself is the learning environment itself. For example, e-learning that functions on content management system. So we can see that once the connection is off, then the instructional equation breaks down because the instructors and learners are disconnected. And another example of accessibility would be the instructors or learners with special needs. So we know that this Web 4.0 has propagates the notion of open access and lifelong learning. So technology integration will have to transform the role of the instructor and the learners. So for example, instructor will have to be tech savvy in managing and constructing learning opportunities that are more self-directed. So they have to be equipped with good decision-making skills and information processing skills. These skills will help them to assist their learners, right? So therefore, it is proposed that the first solution is the learning ecosystem, where we have to look at the learning ecosystem. I believe that different curriculum frameworks will present different learning ecosystem, but at its bare, it will consist of an instructor, learners, and resources. The African proverb says that it takes a village to raise a child. So I have this idea, right, of this learning ecosystem where every relevant stakeholders come together for the benefit of the learners. And we can see from the proposed framework that the learners are the core of the learning ecosystem, and with the outer layers of support. And of course, the closest support would be the social supports and the learning environment, and finally the policy or policymakers or whoever that are relevant. The outer layer, the policy and others, it draws the boundaries of the learning ecosystem. And the proposed learning ecosystem will not function if there is no suitable delivery platform. So it is also proposed that the prior members of the proposed learning ecosystem to have to coexist in the medium of a particular web generation. So in Web 4.0 and Edu 4.0, instructors will have to reduce their roles to only be designers of instructions. The main objective is not to teach, but to provide a set of carefully designed instructions to help learners to learn. And so the success of technology integration in education depends on the defining members of the learning ecosystem. There must be a balance between the instructors, learners, and the technologies. And then only maybe we can redefine the ideology of human learning. So with that, I end my sharing. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's a very fruitful sharing from you, Miss Faith. So I love the way that you said, how, everyone plays the role in actually integrating technology in education, right? So everyone has
Definitely.
their own roles to play, actually.
Yes,
Not only the instructors, even the learners and even the stakeholders. So
correct.
thank you very much for your sharing.
Thank you.
So, so let's move on to the next speaker for the day. So now, without further ado, I would like to invite Miss Sugandha Kandenwal. She is the head of communication, events, and international partnerships of ALPRO International School, Pune, India. And today she'll be presenting on Pathway to Global Education. So, Miss Sugandha, are you here? Okay, it seems like Miss Sugandha is not here yet. She has some technical issues. So we'll be continuing our session with our next presenter, Miss Rezan Gizir. She'll be presenting
Hello.
on behalf of Miss Ferda Dennis Oskok. And she's currently working, she'll be presenting for Miss Oskok, who is actually currently working at the public secondary school in
Hello.
Penang.
I'm sorry.
Okay, yes. Are you
I'm
in?
Rezan.
Miss Rezan, are you in?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so today you will be presenting on exchange program in Europe. Is it right?
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, so Miss Rezan, can you please switch on your camera so that we could see you?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Shall I start?
Yeah, you can start.
Okay. I would like to share my screen. Now, can you see? Can you see my screen? Hello.
Yes, presentation.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we could see your screen right now, Ms. Rezan. You
Okay.
can continue with your presentation.
Thank you very much. First, I would like to introduce myself to you. I'm from National Directorate of Education in Adana, and I am actually an English teacher, but currently I have been coordinating European projects for my schools in my district. And my district is a place in Turkey, which is in the south of Turkey, which is called Adana. And I have been doing Erasmus projects since 2014. And I would like to introduce about what is Erasmus Plus. Now, it's a program founded by the European Commission in 1987. And its main aim is, or has three aims. The first one is exchange programs. The second one is supporting education, training, youth, and sport in Europe. It has a very huge budget, which is about 26.2 billion euros. And because of that period, which is called, which starts from 2014 and which will go up to 2020, this was the estimated budget. But now we have started a new 7-year program, which is doubled this budget. And who can take part in Erasmus Plus projects? Actually, all the educational authorities, all the private educational authorities can join Erasmus Plus programs. As you can see on the screen, we have higher education, which is universities. We have vocational education and training institutions, all the school education programs, adult education, youth, and sport. And you can find more information in our Erasmus Plus program guide as well. Now, what does this current program, which I mentioned that it was a 7-year program, which started in 2021 and goes until 2027, it focuses on basically 4 important issues. The first important issue is social inclusion. The second one is environment, which is called the green environment, and digital transitions, the third one. And the last is promotion of the participation of young people, which is for working for democracy and democratic life. And as I think you must have known Deniz, my friend, as a teacher. She has been taking several parts. She has been taking part in several Erasmus Plus projects in the last 12 years. And her school has participated in such topics, which I want to mention. The first one was about inclusion of students with disadvantages. The second one was coding and robotics. The third one was kids' rights. And the fourth one was refugee and immigrant students in education, diversity, and cultural heritage. Now, as you can realize, the projects are totally about supporting education and supporting disadvantaged people and subjects. So the school's projects basically had 6 partner schools from 6 different countries. Usually, these Erasmus Plus projects for schools can have not more than 7 schools, but 6 is the perfect number, and 6 different countries come together and they choose a certain period of time. This project was about 2 years. It can be 3 years as well, 2.5 years as well. And now I will show you some photos about these projects that you may have some idea about these projects. This is about inclusion and diversity. And you can see the partner countries. And its name was Back to School Life and All in One Hand. Now I will show you some photos about the students. They were in Spain in this photo. This was a mobility in Turkey. And you see the students and the teachers sharing some programs and some very nice activities together. This was a workshop. This is a school visit with students with disabilities. The students take part in lots of games and activities and workshops. And this is one of them in Italy. Getting to know activities. As you can see from the photos and from my sharings, you can realize that Erasmus Plus projects real aim is just to get to know each other, to share experiences, and to arouse awareness between human beings. All in One is a project which says that we are all one. We are not, despite our differences in language, differences in ideas, we are all together. And at the last of projects, we usually come together to make a seminar, to give a seminar, that what we have learned from these projects. This is another project, as you see. And the good point in Erasmus Plus projects is once you start doing projects, you get to know the country, you start creating another project which becomes, which lasts forever. So once you start, don't be afraid to get to how to know how to start. You will help each other because it's a partnership and it goes on so smoothly, and the projects help us to realize that we are all one. That is the total aim. You see, there are many, many activities in many, many different countries. And as you can see, the age is not important. As long as you are a student, you can take part in these Erasmus Plus projects. This is a photo from a festival, film festival. And these are the teachers. There are training sessions. And as you realize from the photos that the school turns out to be an art center, which is very, very nice for the students. You see the corridors of the school. This is a photo from Portugal. They are doing their traditional dance. So many activities. Let's look from another perspective, from students' perspective. Believe me, they feel themselves so valuable, so important. They gain self-confidence, and they have creativity, compassion, confidence for themselves. They are more active. They are more. They feel active, and they express themselves better day by day. They improve their language, and they improve their ICT skills. They have a bond which becomes stronger year by year, and they know what they can do. They appreciate themselves. They appreciate every kind of culture, which is makes a very good basement for their future. As I watched previously, the presenter, she mentioned about some skills. You see, the Erasmus Plus projects helps all the students gain these skills. Let's look from a teacher's perspective. And teachers develop their professionalism, and they have a chance to observe the teaching and learning activities, and they become aware of the new teaching methods. They share experiences with other teachers around the world. They become more aware of how projects are running, and they have a chance to work collaboratively with different cultures. Now we have a photo in the park for the project catalog. And the students make posters, the students create catalogs, the students make leaflets, pieces of art. You see? They know what a workshop is, what a seminar is. They enjoy themselves. This is a garden party. And all teachers and students are every time together sharing. They have parties. This is another project which is about digital education, about robotics, as you see. You know, the main point is not, I don't know robotics, or robotics is something very, very unusual for me. Just working on main basic topics about robotics. That's enough for us. We don't have special aims just to prove something, to make a thesis, antithesis. No, it's just getting to know something about robotics, sharing the activities, and that's all. You don't have to be a professional on that project. Project is a vehicle just to share, to get to know, and that's it. And Erasmus Plus program is, you know, not just about Europe or Europeans. It's for people from all over the world. I am very glad to get to know this program, the symposium, and I wish we could have chance in the future to have a project with Malaysia, with other countries, other non-European countries, because I believe that we are all one. And if you want to know more information about this European program, you can find a lot of information in Erasmus Plus EU Commission page and EU programs. There's loads of information, but the most important thing is, you know, to just build up a project idea and to turn this idea, to share this idea with a partner and work together. As long as we work together, we create everything. We can do everything. Let's talk about age limit. I can say that Erasmus has no age limit. What makes the program even more special is that it offers opportunities for every kind of people, regardless of their age. And this is very important. This means that not only young people, but also their parents can benefit from the program, which is very nice. All the people, included in education, can take part. And let's talk about the participating countries. As you see, the program basically starts with the European countries, but there are 11 countries basically, but there are other countries, other participant countries, which are like Turkey, and there is a list of these countries as well. You can find in the Erasmus program guide. Sorry, am I gone so far?
Excuse me, Ms. Rezan, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
But it was a really fruitful information from you. So
Thank you
it was
very
a
much.
great presentation, especially when you have explained about the programs that you have done, right? It is so nice to hear it, and I think we actually use it as an example in Malaysia too. And actually,
I hope so.
you know, we love the way how your students have actually actively involved in the programs that they have done. So it was a great sharing. Thank you so much, Ms. Rezan.
I thank you for, I'm so happy to join. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye from Turkey.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So now let's move on to our next presenter. Now I would like to invite Ms. Sugandha Khandelwal, the Head of Communication, Events and International Partnerships from ALPRO International School, Pune, India, and she'll be presenting on Pathway to a Global Education. So let's welcome Ms. Sugandha in. Yeah.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I can just open my slide now. Yes, okay. So, namaste, everybody from India. And I'd just like to say that I've been hearing the presenters before me, and it has been a very, very insightful colloquium. So, thank you for inviting me to this show. And a lot of learning happening here, a lot of intercultural learning happening here, a lot of learning about the best practices. So, I'm going to be sharing something that we do at ALPRO that we take pride in, which is, just incorporating global education and internationalism in our school. Um, to begin with, I'll just be touching base on what is global education, what is our understanding about global education, why is global education important, and how do we promote it in our schools. So, as per the definition, global education is the understanding of cultures, the just understanding the differences, the similarities, the different kind of dialects, food habits, culture, dance, music, all of that, just the beauty that this world has with respect to different cultures is what global education is all about. And it is not restricted to what you are taught in a classroom, in a textbook, but it is about how you move out into this world and absorb different kind of cultures that help you to become more holistically developed as a human being. And I think that is what summarizes what global education is all about. As a school, we really feel that global education and internationalism is very, very important because it just encourages students to be very, very open minded, to be mutually accepting and respectful, to be creative thinkers, to understand the real world challenges. Because when you give them an exposure to global education and when you talk to them about the different kind of challenges that nations are facing worldwide, something that a country like India faces and something like a country like a US would face is different. So it just makes them more informed about real world challenges. And when they come together, it also encourages them to find real life world, problem solutions. And since students, who are in school right now are the future generations to come, it is very, very important that we sensitize them at this age to absorb the different cultures and, more importantly, be respectful and tolerant towards everybody. So again, global education plays a big role over there. It just helps them to be innovative, it helps them in their thought process, and just basically having a mutual dialogue with each other. That's my school, ALPRO International at Pune. I just thought I'll share a sneak peek of what the school is. As a school, like I said, while we are affiliated with international boards like Cambridge Assessment, International Education, and IBDP, which is the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program, along with the National Board, which is Central Board of Secondary Education in India, we are also looking at different ways of internationalism. So if you would see on this slide, we are a AFS member school. We have also partnered with British Council International Dimension in Schools, under which we take up a lot of projects internationally with different countries that are, that could be as basic as understanding different food habits, or it could be as big as a Model United Nations conference. So these are some of the small things that we do in school. We are a Microsoft school, so again, all the best practices of technology that are incorporated worldwide, we as a school ensure that our students are given a hands-on experience of that. We are an official TEDx licensed owner. Now, these are all things that give an international exposure and stage to the students to be actually understanding of what it means, when it comes to international education. So, as a part of TEDx, our students go up on the TEDx platform and share stories and ideas. And it gives me a lot of happiness to say that almost 20 students of our school have our official TEDx speakers and have done brilliantly well. Maybe sometime, you could just go and check on the TEDx website about ALCo International School. It is endearing to see that students right from the age group of 8 years, 9 years to 16, 17 years have gone up on this platform, and now they are available on the official TED platform. The videos are available on the official TED platform. So again, it's a very, very big step for incorporating internationalism. Just for others here, it is extremely encouraging, I think, for everybody to look at TEDx videos, to maybe, initiate a TEDx community program or a school program. It just brings in people from different, aspects and dimensions of life who add in so much of perspective to our day-to-day beliefs, and it just helps us to expand our horizon. So that is one of the things that talk about internationalism at ALCo. We are also a member school for Kids for Peace. Again, it is such a beautiful and humble program. It is spread over 121 countries all across the globe, with a very, very basic mission of driving peace and global harmony. And again, as a member school, we take up small projects like, just having a simple thing like a dove making, or writing slogans in peace, or writing letters to different students in different parts of the world. Again, just bringing in the more empathetic and more compassionate side of global education to our students. So with this, I just like to say that the point is that it is not only about studying science, maths, social studies, geography. It's just not about that. It is about the basic humanitarian skills that we at ALCo want to promote with internationalism. Moving ahead, some of our partner schools, Wapping High School and Mount Kelly in London, and SK Section 13 in Malaysia, we've done some amazing projects which I would like to talk about in my subsequent slides. Moving to what COVID-19 taught us. Now, of course, the pandemic, the world has suffered in this pandemic. There was loss of life, there was unemployment, we've seen really hard times, right, with this pandemic. But what I believe it taught us was that geographical boundaries are just there, right, on maps, because we used and we understand how to leverage technology to our favor. And because of that situation where we were all brought in, that okay, nothing, you're not moving out of your homes, schools were shut down, traveling became difficult, and it became impossible for the initial bits, and everything was, just contained into those four walls. That's when we stepped up and we leveraged technology to actually explore the possibilities of bringing and connecting with different people in different parts of the world. Under that, one of the most important and the most dearest project to my heart is Pangea. Pangea, I'm sure most of the people and presenters here would know that signifies a unified mass. So before the world broke into continents, it was a unified mass and it was called Pangea. So our idea with Pangea was to bring in people together to share their thoughts, share their practices, share their beliefs, and just share their expressions on one platform. The entire idea was to bring students in different parts of the world. So if you can see in my slide, we had over 10 schools, including mine, of course, who participated in Pangea. Different schools like, from different countries, from the Middle East to Asia to Europe. All of these schools came together with their students, and we participated in such amazingly humble and basic activities. If I can just share, activities where students just taught each other to sing in their local language, to a panel discussion where we spoke about how technology and AI have artificial intelligence have revolutionized the global education world, to speaking with teachers about how they feel that technology came in, and how difficult and how easy it was for them to adapt to this entire method of teaching. So it wasn't, of course, an overnight affair that happened. It took us a lot of time to speak to different schools in different parts of the world, and share with them the vision that we had with this, share with them the idea that we had with this, and how it was important for us to bring in students. The most challenging, and it's a small trivia that I'd like to give everybody here, the most challenging thing in a project like Pangea is matching different time zones. So we had a school from Spain, from Brazil, from Chile, from to Middle East, to India, and right to Malaysia. So while the students of Brazil were joining in at 6:30 in the morning, and UK was somewhere at 11:30, and Middle East somewhere at 3:30 p.m. in the day, and India at 5:30, and Malaysia at 8:30 p.m. So, but a huge shout out to all the educators of these schools who took initiative and who encouraged their students to, even when it was not in the regular hours of what a typical day is, they kind of participated so beautifully in this project, which actually led to the culmination and the success. Just another insight, that there were 10 participating countries, 10 schools, and over 98 students who participated in this 2-day conference, which was held virtually over Zoom. These are just some snapshots of the conference. If you see here, this is the Honorable Patricia Scotland, who is the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, and she took out time to address us over a video message. And it gives me a lot of happiness and pride to say that she was extremely appreciative of ALCo International School and their partner schools to be thinking of a project like Pangea, wherein we are actually discussing real life problems, and the students are thinking of solutions to help those problems to be solved. We also had a collaborative project with the SK Section 13 Selangor, Malaysia, Madam Ong, who is much instrumental in today's show, with her school. And what an absolute pleasure that was to see students of grades 4 and 5 present on the theory of tribes. That was the topic of our project. And like I mentioned, that it is not about what you have to just teach them over textbooks, but even things like what are the different kind of tribes that are native to different countries. So we spoke about 4 tribes of the world, the Indian tribe, the Malaysian, the African, and the Arctic. And the students were so enthusiastic about this entire project. They made headgears, they made flutes, they made, they danced over a virtual medium. And I would encourage and request everybody to just go and see the YouTube channel of ALCo International School to see how wonderful these children are. And no matter, we met for around 5-6 times during the practice sessions of these conferences, and the children were so eager to know more about each other, and they participated so beautifully. Madam Ong and I were discussing, that no matter in which part of the world you are, the basic essence of childhood always remains the same. And which is why it is important to bring in global education at this age, because here they are with no prejudices, no biases, no preconceived notions about different nationalities, and hence it becomes important for schools to incorporate global education beautifully into their curriculum. We did a literary fest with with our partner school in UK, which is Wobbing High, and some of the projects that we did were creative writing, balloon debate, book quiz, and character sketch. Now, just to give you an insight about these activities, creative writing, where they were asked to write a short story on a couple of prompts. So we gave them around 7 to 10 prompts, and the students had to write a prose about the entire thing. And balloon debate is again a very, very fun activity where children were asked to talk about their favorite book and why it should be read by everybody and why that book should not be thrown off the balloon. So that's the concept. It's a hot air balloon where children are together and they can just keep some books with them. So the children actually had to talk about their favorite books. The entire idea of Literary Fest is to ensure that the skills like reading, writing, listening are beautifully taken into account, and children, again with two different nationalities, come together, discuss on the different kind of books, because books are a wonderful medium to just engage and have a dialogue with each other for. Book quiz was one of the most amazing activities, and most of the students answered questions on their favorites like Harry Potter's and Roald Dahl's and Geronimo Stilton. So that was again a great activity. And character sketch, where they were defined, to give life to a character through their writing. These are some screenshots of the activity. So if you see, book flicks, if you see here, this was like a book quiz that we had done, and the students were really, really participative, and we had a lot of fun in just interacting with each other. Another project that we did last year, so all these projects that I'm talking about have happened, in the previous year, that is 21-22. And we did a project which is called No Disaster, No Disaster, which essentially means that if you are well informed about these natural disasters like tsunamis and cyclones, then when we take the remedial steps and we can actually prevent them from happening and cause minimal damage to, of course, we can't stop nature from showing us its wrath, but we can be better prepared. And that project was culminated with the school in Indonesia, SD Muhammadiyah Sapen. Again, the students participated and spoke about different kind of issues that happen during these natural disasters and what kind of measures the governments take. Now, the best part about these projects, if you ask me, is the research that goes behind it. So it is not just about coming together, having fun, sharing some dialogues and information. The pre-work for all of this, not the final presentation, but the pre-work before the presentation is what is extremely important, because students here are taught to research on a topic. And researching is one of the most important life skills that we need to imbibe in our students, not just during their school life, but even otherwise. I think we are all lifelong learners here, and researching on a particular topic is something that we should be talking to our students about, because we need to teach them to just pick up information off the internet, because we all know that internet has great amount of information, but not all information is correct. So that's where the skills of research play a good role. Understanding what are the kind of websites that you all should look at, how you should ensure that you all are, validating the information, what different kind of encyclopedias are available that give you the right kind of statistics. So, this entire journey has been extremely enriching for our students, and I feel that the entire international education, colloquium is only brought into reality with the vision that our students need to take back a lot from there. So while the school encourages it, ultimately it is the students who drive it in a school, and that is why I would always like to commend my students and the students of our partner schools for taking it up so beautifully. Like I mentioned earlier, we are a TEDx licensed school, and these are some of the opportunities that we give to our students in the school, where they just come up and speak on basic things about how it is important to incorporate different kind of ideas and be respectful to those ideas. So, which is why it is extremely important that we promote these kind of international learning in our schools, and that is what we encourage. To summarize, I'd just like to say that internationalism and global education are not parallel to mainstream education. It is a part of it. So we have to understand that it is not something that we take up separately, or we take up as a project, or we take up, once in a while. it just has to become a part of the mainstream education. It has to become more integrated into the mainstream education. And we can only do that when we open doors to different schools in different parts of the world and invite them to participate with our students, to interact with our students. And now that travel has opened again, Madam Ong and I were also discussing, and I was also discussing with my another partner school, that now we should look at actually visiting, our partner schools in different parts of the world. Because if you ask me, I strongly believe that travel is the most wonderful teacher. It teaches you such amazing things about your own self and about the different parts of the world, along with our fellow human beings in different countries. So yes, global education is the way ahead and is the way to go and move forward. And we as schools together, we should be participative and make this a reality. Thank you so much for being such patient audiences and letting me share what ALPRO does to talk about global education. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ganda. It was a really great sharing, especially when you shared how you guys are networking with the other schools and other organizations. It's really, really, really like opening my, mind opening to most of the people and most of the schools around, who are listening right now. So thank you so much for your sharing.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, see you if we have like chance.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody, and namaste.
So now we move on to our next speaker, which is Muhammad Fazri bin Hassan. So he's a special need teacher from SK Gas Sandakan, Sabah, Malaysia. He's involved in many conferences and has received many awards. And he'll be presenting on empowering inclusive education in SK Gas Sandakan through co-curricular activities. So let's watch his video.
Assalamualaikum. Hello everyone. My name is Muhammad Fazri bin Hassan. I'm a primary special education teacher from SK Gas Sandakan Sabah. Today I'll be presenting on empowering inclusive education in SK Gas through co-curricular activities. So before we delve into my sharing today, there is a keyword that I would like to further clarify so that it will make ease of understanding on my presentation. The main keyword for my sharing today is Inclusive Education Program, or also known as IEP. According to the Education Regulation, in bracket Special Education 2013, in Malaysia, the Inclusive Education Program is an education program for students with special needs who are educated in a regular class at government schools or non-government schools. So according to the IEP guideline book issued by MOE in 2013, the goal of IEP is to increase the participation and opportunities for students with special education needs to attend teaching and learning programs with students in the mainstream. IEP also prompts the public not to deny the potentials of students with special education needs and accept that their inability can be minimized if given the same opportunity. There are two types of inclusive education available in Malaysia, which are full inclusion and partial inclusion. So in full inclusion, students with special needs are placed in the mainstream classrooms full-time with their typical peers from all the academic subjects. Meanwhile, for partial inclusion, students with special needs are included for certain academic subjects or co-curricular activities based on their abilities, talents, and potentials. So for our Integrated Special Education Program, PPKI SK Sandakan, we have been aggressively promoting IEP since 2018 step by step. Among the actions taken were handling workshops with mainstream teachers, building inclusive friends from typical students, and also creating gallery work to share information, and lots of PLCs. So we have identified 3 points that have helped us to empower our IEP, which are firstly, sources and opportunities. One of our strategies to empower our inclusive program is by using our social media in promoting activities we do. We also use social media, especially Telegram and Facebook, resources and opportunities. One of our strategies to empower our inclusive program is by using our social media in promoting activities we do. We also use social media, especially Telegram and Facebook, to find activities in various levels for our students to take part. Secondly, the willingness to learn and take part among mainstream teachers in my school has become our backbone in making sure our inclusive program runs smoothly. Last but not least, our team are very dedicated to live up the vision and our goals, which consist of the school admins, special education teachers, and mainstream teachers, and also the parents. Nonetheless, we are also facing big challenges in empowering our inclusive program. Among the challenges are lack of inclusive environment for us to facilitate more activities. Next, stereotyping on the abilities of special education needs students to involve in activities or program. And lastly, misinterpretation on the inclusive concept that is merely a responsibility of special education teachers. So among the activities we took part last year in international level, first the International of Mathematics Genius Open Competition, where we managed to send 10 of our students for the online quiz. And we also managed to send 3 of our students to International Online Art Visual Workshop. In national level, we managed to send 9 of our students for National New Norm Coloring Competitions. We also managed to send 9 of our students to take part in National Art Exhibition last year. One of our students managed to earn National Certificate for Mental Health Online Quiz. And in recent event, our student and her inclusive friend has won a National Champion title for COVID-19 Digital Poster Competition. Next, for state level participation, 11 of our students managed to take part in Sabah State Online Talent Quiz, and we also managed to send 5 of our students to state cross-country competition. In school level, 7 of our students were part of the school mural project last year, and not forget to mention, we are actively take part in our school scout activities where mainstream students and special education needs students combine together to do activities every Wednesday. Well, here comes the end. That's it from me. Thank you everyone for listening.
Wow, that was a great presentation from Muhammad Fazri bin Hazan. So, a gentle reminder to all our audience and participants, the teachers especially, your link for the attendance will be open soon, but please wait for the link to be posted in the chat. Okay, so now we'll be continuing with the Q&A session. So if you have any questions, you could actually put in your question in the chat box. Okay, boleh lah. Okay, here's a question from Shamsila binti Sulaiman. She's asking about, sudah lama dengar tentang PBL ini, tetapi pelaksanaannya di sekolah terutama untuk SK sangat kurang dipraktiskan. Kekangan apakah ini? So this question was actually directed to Miss Doreen.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good afternoon. Yes, I know schools. Yeah, banyak sekolah. Yeah, can I speak in English? Or do you prefer
Yeah, I
BM?
think English. Yeah.
In English, huh? Yeah. In Malaysia, yeah, I think one of the problems is that maybe the teachers are not exposed to it yet. Most of the teachers do not know what is PBL, project-based learning, and to them, like just coming out with something as simple as like, they have a science project, just a simple one. They think that it is a project. Yeah, that is a mini version, I say. Okay, but it is not the correct version of PBL. Actually, when we are talking about PBL, yeah, sorry, I think there is an echo there, is it? Yeah. Is there an echo behind? No. Is it clear? Clear. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So you see, so actually when you are talking about PBL, we need a lot of support from the admin, from the management level. Okay. So what is important is because this is a long process. This is a long process where it is not an one-off program. So teachers, they have to guide the students on how to come up with the program. What is the issue actually? Sorry. For example, you must have an issue, a real life issue. So based on that, then they will work on it and they have to discuss. There will be collaboration and also they have to come up with the program, whatever the project, and they have to present it to the society now or the stakeholders. So this will help them because stakeholders can come from the parents or the professionals. So they will give their ideas. So from there, they proceed with the programs. So, but how many of us involve these people, the professionals and then the stakeholders? We don't want to involve them, but we hope that the society will be more open-minded and they are willing to contribute. And yeah, I know it is a long process whereby you have to prepare proposal. Yes, it is a long process because whatever program that we are doing, we have to go through the proposal, we have to present and to get approval from the management. Okay, so like for one, so you can have a simple one. I'm not asking you to come up with something very complex. A simple one, for example. Now, one issue is like if you are staying nearby, like in a village school, remote school. So those who are very poor, there are some who are poor. They cannot afford to buy, vegetables and all this. You can come up with a plot of land, yeah, a farm. So you plant. Okay, that could be one of the issues, because they cannot afford to buy vegetables and all this. So from there, they could present, the stakeholders could contribute ideas on how to make sure the vegetables that the farm is well taken care of. So what type of fertilizer to use? So this comes from the farmers. So these people could help. So what is the most important is, I think, and the commitment from the teachers. So teachers, we have to be committed in this PBL. It's not that I'm saying you're not committed. You are committed in certain ways, teaching and all this, yeah? So, but maybe PBL is another aspect that we should not forget. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Doreen. Okay, so we have another question from Mahanim Abdulmanap. So he has asked, are you participants, people that you have sent to compete are coming from special need people, sir? I think this question are directed to Muhammad Fazri.
Yeah, thank you, Miss Mahanim, for the questions. Yes, all the events, all the competition and everything was coming from my special education student.
Okay, Thank you. So we have another question here. Kumudini Sundrapan has asked, how do these schools manage to get funding to support all their projects? I think this most probably will be directed to all the international schools, right? So we'll direct this question to Ms. Suganda. Okay, seems like there's a technical issue. Ms. Suganda can't join us right now. Okay, maybe we can proceed to the next question. So a question from Durashan. How many kids in the classroom? I think this is also directed to Ms. Ganda or also Ms. Rezan. And so sorry, Ms. Suganda, I think she can't join us for now. She has left. There's some technical issues. So next question. Oh yeah, she's here. Ms. Faith, maybe can help.
Is the questions addressing how many kids in the classroom?
Yes.
The questions addressing how many kids in the classroom?
Yes.
Usually the
The
ideal
questions addressing how many kids in the classroom?
Yes.
usually the
The questions addressing how many kids in the classroom?
Yes.
Usually the questions addressing.
So that's all for our question session, and also a gentle reminder again for the attendance. The links for the attendance are already in the chat box right now. So all the teachers, you can actually click on the link to actually key in your attendance. And for the students, just remember the link will be given at 4:30 p.m. later after our second session. Okay, and here's the link or the QR code for the teachers session right now. So you can scan this QR code right now to actually key in your attendance. audiences and participants, we are going to have our 45 minutes intermission for our lunch break, and we'll be back again at 2:30 p.m. with the winners of project-based learning competition. So wait for the result. Hope to see everyone later. And also a gentle reminder again, remember this link is just for the teachers and also the officers, and the link for the students will be given at 4:30 p.m. later, yeah. So yeah, thank you.